Hello again, how you doing? Well, we are in wave 3 now, and we're in kind of pseudo lockdown here again, so no inter-provincial travel because there's lots of red zones, etc. So I'm kind of stuck again. Bit boring, but never mind. So what are we doing today? Today I'm going to continue on the theme of questions from my PM versus CM sessions. This one is from my most recent session, which was for the PMI Hong Kong chapter, and the question was sent in by Sarah Jane Morphet, who is a project manager working for Creature Comforts, which is Hong Kong's premier full-service veterinary practice. The question she sent in was, if a project manager wanted to increase their change management capabilities, what would you say were the top 2 or top 3 skills that they should focus on? She added that my session had been useful for her as her company was going through a fair bit of change through a number of HR and IT projects. Excuse me. This is kind of an easy one to answer because I can just refer to the 3 foundations of my practical framework approach to change, which are sponsorship and engagement, stakeholder analysis and management, and communications. So Sarah, those are the 3. Quite easy really, isn't it? What was that? About a minute and a half. It's a short one today. You know it isn't going to be a short one. You know me. You know I like to talk much more than that. Okay, so let's carry on, shall we? All right, first one is sponsorship engagement. What's that all about? All right, let me tell you. First of all, from my practical framework approach to change, I say identify and work with a sponsor to ensure commitment to the change initiative, and to regularly engage with them in relation to their key responsibilities, visibility, building support, communication, managing resistance, setting priorities, and celebrating success. Sponsors, you have a lot to do. Yes, you do. Every change project needs a sponsor. Sponsors help allocate budget and resources, align critical stakeholders, work through any cross-organisational conflicts, and provide visible leadership and support for the change. The sponsor is the one person who provides the ultimate authority for the project. In each of ProSci's benchmarking studies from 1998 to date, participants identified active and visible sponsorship as the #1 contributor to success when it comes to change implementation. The 2018 edition of the PMI's Pulse of the Profession report shows that for the 6th year in a row, having actively engaged sponsors is the #1 top driver of project success. Sponsors, though, are not usually relieved of their other work responsibilities when they accept the role of sponsor. Sponsors' activities are usually in addition to their normal workload, and as such, individuals considering accepting the role of sponsor must assess their current workload and be sure that they have adequate time to participate in the project and all those things they have to do. So you, as a change manager, will need to work with a sponsor to make sure that they actually do what it says on the can. Like, are they aware of the importance they play in making changes successful? Are they aware of their key responsibilities in supporting organisational change? Will they be active and visible throughout the project? Will they build the support that's needed for the change to be successful? Will they communicate directly and effectively with impacted employees? Are they prepared to manage resistance? Will they celebrate success? Will they set clear priorities regarding the change initiative and your day-to-day activities? Will they avoid flavour of the month syndrome? Hey, I'm a sponsor. Cool, I've signed the sponsorship statement. Look at me, aren't I good? And then do nothing else about it. You've got a lot to do, as I said before, sponsors. Don't be flavour of the month. All right, #2, stakeholder analysis and management. From my practical framework approach to change, I say identify key stakeholders, then engage with them to understand their level and type of interest, their level of influence, reasons for supporting or resisting the change initiative, and determining the communication activities to win their support and help ensure that the project succeeds. Stakeholder analysis is the technique used to identify people who have to be engaged to build the support that drives success. Stakeholder management is an important discipline to win that support from others, as it helps ensure that a project succeeds where others have gone down the pan, failed. To implement change successfully, you must understand the perspectives of your stakeholders and balance their needs with the needs of the business. If your stakeholders don't get it, they won't buy into it, and it's likely your project will run into problems or even fail, like I said before, despite your best efforts. Typically, stakeholders are assessed early in the project when developing a stakeholder management plan, a communications plan, a schedule, and so on. As it's not practical and usually unnecessary to engage with all stakeholder groups with the same level of intensity, it's important to prioritise them in order to allocate most time and effort to the most important ones. The analysis and mapping steps, if performed correctly, would lead to a short list of stakeholders based on a set of criteria. Once the stakeholders have been identified, analysed and prioritised and grouped, you will then need to formulate strategies and actions plans in order to optimally engage with them. The level of engagement as well as the choice of strategy depends on how important each stakeholder is, or each stakeholder group is, for the success of the change programme. Right, next up, communication, but not before I have another drink. Wow, that's good. All right, communication. Again, from my practical framework approach to change, I say implement a comprehensive communications plan that includes creating awareness, stakeholders to be communicated to, types of messages to be communicated, channels to be communicated through, and the frequency of the communication. You cannot over communicate when you're asking your organisation to change. Every person who has led a successful change management effort expresses the need for over communicating during a change experience and makes the statement in retrospect because they found out to their cost during the change initiative. No organisation exists in which employees are completely happy with communication. Communication is one of the toughest issues in organisations. It is an area that's most frequently complained about by employees, even during organisation change, and even during daily operations. The key to communications is creating awareness. What is awareness? Awareness is a person's view of the current state, how they perceive problems, their view of the credibility and the trust of their leader, the misinformation and rumours that circulate, the grapevine. There's a song there. Oh, I heard it through the grapevine. Not much longer would you be mine. Sorry, I had to do that, didn't I? And last but not least, a disagreement of the need to change. So, to create that awareness, you need to help people understand of the need to change by providing messages about the rationale for change, messages about the change itself, and messages about the impact of the change, which will hopefully answer stakeholder questions such as, why is the change necessary? Why is it happening now? What is wrong with what we are doing today? What will happen if we don't change? What's in it for the individual? What's in it for me? And please remember, the message sent is not necessarily the message received. Whew, finished. That was a bit of a long one, wasn't it, compared to my last few? But I think it was an important one because, as I say, they are the foundations to my practical framework approach to change. And also, I think they are the three most important things a project manager, needs to get capabilities in if they want to start managing change as well. So thank you very much for listening to me again. I'll be back again with another one from my PMI Hong Kong chapter session. I'm not sure when, maybe in a couple of weeks' time or whatever. Stay safe.